I'm here at Edinburgh Harley. Well, I'm just leaving Edinburgh Harley because I'm having a shot of this. It's the Harley Pan America. It's definitely not a Harley. Oh fuck. So initial thoughts, it's tall, the ergonomics are a bit weird. Yeah, just this fucking screen. Put the screen up a bit. Oh. So I've just came down the bypass, which is never a pleasant experience, but this thing was okay. The screen's a bit weird. I think it's designed for people that are much smaller than me. I'm 6'4", and the screen wasn't really doing much for me. But it's comfy, it goes fast, it's quick enough. Brakes are really good. Handling's a bit weird initially. The front end feels a bit weird. Feels sort of like it's got a flat tyre. It's not though. But it's quick, good brakes. Handles apart from that weird initial feeling, which is just, I think it's just me getting used to it. Feels a bit weird. The gearbox is a bit crap. Feels like vague. A bit of a strange way to put it, but a bit of a vague gearbox. Like, I don't know. Feels like there's a big dead spot in the throttle as well. Like you turn it. Yeah. It's got plenty of grunt. Definitely doesn't sound like a Harley. I mean, if anyone knows what I mean by that, you know, Harleys have a very distinct sound. This doesn't have the typical Harley engine. It's got about 150 horsepower out of 1200, and a normal Harley 1200 is about got 16 horsepower or something. I know it's got more than that. Switch gear's a bit weird, although a lot of it's for stuff I wouldn't use. This is all for your music on the right hand side. The left hand side's a lot to do with the riding modes, which I'm just out for a short test ride, so I'm not going to go through all the modes and everything and try them all out. The handling's a bit, it just feels a bit weird, like really heavy. Doesn't feel very flickable. I don't know, the feeling's a bit weird. It feels like the initial sort of first little bit of the travel on the throttle doesn't seem to do anything, and it's not like it's not like slacking the cable around. It just feels a bit strange. It's comfortable. This it's nice. The seat feels nice and comfy. Leg room's a bit cramped, but it's nothing different really to compared to the GS. It's very similar sort of ergonomics to the GS. So it picks up good, brakes are good. Jesus Christ. Look this time, you fucking boy, that push bike just pulled out, didn't even look. So yeah, initial impressions of the Harley Pan America. Goes well, brakes are good. Handles just a bit weird. You're getting used to it, but it initially felt like it wasn't very flickable. It's definitely slow, very stable. But the real bit that will divide everybody about this bike is its looks. I'm not a big fan of this. Every time I try and cancel the indicator, I end up indicating. I don't know if that's me or not a great fan of the switchgear, to be honest with you. There's little things like that, like so indicating cancel, and then see it pops up again. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the indicator, to be honest with you. Oh, that's quite good. See, I was pushing it to cancel. You just push the direction, the same direction again to cancel. So that's what I was doing wrong. See, little things like you might think, oh, it's indicator, fucking calm down. But little things like that could piss you off. And if you're doing 2,000 miles and you do 1,000 of them with your fucking indicator flashing away in the wrong direction, there's a high chance somebody will pull it in front of you. Anyway, let's see what it handles. Oof. Roads are a bit greasy today. It's November, winter time, so I didn't really want to chuck it about. Plus I've got a £1,500 excess. The real thing that I'm going to compare this bike to, obviously, is my Africa Twin. Compared to the Africa Twin, this is faster. It doesn't feel faster though. This has got 150 horsepower. And I'd be surprised, I mean, to be honest with you, I'd expected to have a much more go. But my dad's 1250 GS, I don't think it's got the same power as this thing. And the GS is quick. This isn't that quick. Let's have a look. Oh, it is. Okay, so if you need to rev it a bit more to make it go, which is surprising, because Harleys are always sort of low down grunt. Jesus, if you rev the arse off this thing, it flies. And it does sound good. You get a nice sort of roar from the airbox. It's not a Harley sound. I mean, it's never going to be. And I think this is where the Pan America sort of falls down. It's dividing everybody by the looks. I mean, it's not a pretty bike, and the real Harley guys won't like it because it's not like a big twin, you know, cruiser. Watch, we'll stop up here and have a look at it. You'll see what I mean by the looks. Yeah, it's not a bunny bike. It looks okay. It looks okay till about here, but that front end's fucking hideous. There's no other way to put it. But it's an okay bike. So that is the Pan America. The looks were always going to divide people with that front end. Jeez, oh. But yeah, you can see it, tubeless wheels, 1200cc V-twin, water cooled, obviously. I mean, it's got plenty of poke, good brakes. It just doesn't feel as nimble as like the Africa Twin does. Nowhere near it. And it should be, because it's got tubeless wheels, but it's a 19-inch front wheel. It should be more flickable than it is. So it's keyless ignition. Oh, that's weird. So it's got self-lowering suspension for like shorties. So you turn it on, it actually lowers itself down. You can feel it sort of sinking away there. But yeah, keyless ignition, that's never good. And that's it started. I don't know if you can hear it, but the engine does rattle away quite a bit, like. It's not the best sounding bike in the world. Clocks are good. A lot of these modern bikes have got so much going on. The clocks can be cluttered, the TFT screens. This is fine though, big rev counter and speed, that's all you really need. Jesus, squirrel. Yeah, the gearbox is weird, it is vague. it feels, it's hard to describe, it feels nearly spongy, if that makes any sense. I mean, so far, if I had the choice between this and a 1250 GS, I mean, I'd be going for the GS every time. Just, the handling's strange. I'm trying to put my finger on what I don't like about the way it handles. It just feels, it feels off. Really hard to describe. Initially I thought the engine was a bit flat, and it is, it's a bit flat down the rev range. I was expecting to have more sort of low down poke, but if you rev this thing, yes, it's quick. I mean, it's got a good turn of performance about it. Brakes are good. As I was saying, Jesus, and terrifying. I probably shit myself there. So pros, good points about the bike. Brakes are fucking good. The engine's a cracker. It's nice. You spool this thing up, it rewards you. It's good fun. Clocks are good, nice and clear. Finish looks a bit weird, like, watch, I'll just stop here and I'll show you. I'm not too sure about how well made it is. Like, wait there now. Down here, there's exposed wires and stuff. Do you see it? There. I don't know if that's rust. No, it's not rust. I'm not entirely about things like that. I don't know what that sensor is, but that could be a trip ender. Second bit I really don't like is the gearbox. So it's a vague gearbox. It just doesn't feel like, it feels like I'm not sure if it's in gear or not all the time. I don't know if that'll get better as it runs in. Who knows? I was slating the switchgear when I first got on it, but you just have to get used to how it works. So it's not push to cancel, you push the indicator in the same direction. So you indicate left to turn it on, indicate left again to turn it off. And the handling, I just expected it to be, I mean, it's nice and stable, but I was expecting it to be a bit more flickable, especially because you've got a big steering damper sitting there. Yeah, it certainly goes well enough, like. One thing I have to say is all the stuff you read about online that people say about this is bullshit. I mean, it's not a heavy underpowered lump, or, well, okay, it is heavy, but compare it to everything else on the market, GS, KTM Adventures, Africa Twins, all that sort of shit. It's the same weight as them, give or take. The performance is great. I mean, it goes like fuck. It really is. You rev this thing up and it will fly. Handling wise, it's not the quickest turning, but it's stable. I mean, you're not getting unsettled by any bumps or anything. I wouldn't say it's the most confidence inspiring bike in the world, but like on these greasy roads I don't want to chuck it about like crazy. I don't know, different tyres might sort that out though. I'm not a fan of this suspension, so it's got, I don't know what Harley call it, but it's got suspension that lowers itself, and it just feels weird. Coming up to junctions, the bike starts going, it goes all soft. Not a fan of that at all. I'm sure if you were a short arse it would make a world of difference, but for me, nah, I would turn it off. But the guy at Edinburgh Harley, he says it's an option. I mean, if you don't need it, don't buy it, and you'll save yourself £625. So, I mean, that's good. It's good that it's not fitted as standard. You can see it has been designed for shorter people, because if I tuck down behind the screen, it all becomes quiet compared to up here. The screen's adjustable, but that seems to be, I think that's as good as I can get it to go. So will I be swapping my Africa Twin for the Harley Pan America? No, I won't. If a GS was sensible money and more reliable, I'd maybe be tempted, but it's not both of them either. I mean, it's a good bike. I mean, it's pretty hard to get a bad bike these days. The downside is there are better bikes out there for the money, and that's it. I mean, you speak to people about bikes, a lot of folk, oh, that's shite, or that's really good, and there really isn't a bad bike out there getting made these days. I mean, all bikes are good. It's just some are better than others. Unfortunately for Harley, they've not quite got it. Not quite got it right this time. For me, anyway.